right, I assure you, Lord Vader, we got some, I want to say good news, but at the same time, it's not good news. It's like, we're happy you're doing this, but at the same time, we can't praise you at the same time, basically. So, oh man, so Anakin Skywalker came out, and it's funny, when originally the reworks came out, everyone's like, oh, why doesn't he have this data? He's probably going to suck, yada, yada, yada. And it turns out that Anakin Skywalker, would you agree, turned out to be the shining star out of the 3 new reworks we got, right?
Whoa, right?
Yeah.
And not only amazing, but effective.
Yes, widely effective. He's actually already blipping up on the meta report because he's been a fantastic counter to Darth Malik. Besides the fact he has buff immunity and healing immunity, he also does massive damage, and consider ferocity going on the Darth Revan team, which reduces their defense. Anakin has been amazing, and
it's mostly the bonus turn over turn meter, which bypasses shock. That is a big deal.
Huge deal. So basically, they did too good of a rework, and a lot of people on my video were joking when I did the Anakin Skywalker vid. They're like, "Oh, this counters Malik. This is gonna get nerfed." I saw literally 500 comments, and they were spot on. No confirmation just yet if Anakin's gonna get nerfed, but if they're looking into it, and there's a possibility it's happening. So we're gonna break it down into a couple other things, maybe some Grievous love happening in the future, and kind of an in-depth analysis on where the game is right now, because it's in a weird spot that I've never seen before in the 3+ years I've been playing this game. Would you say the same?
Yeah, I've never scratched my head more than in the last week. By far, I give credit to where credit's due. This is an amazing game, right? We love the game. We're passionate.
Of course. I think the best mobile game out there, honestly.
Yeah, I just been scratching my head, and I know that people are like, say, leave Anakin alone, but seriously, 100k AoEs, probably not good.
Yeah.
Just gonna say that right now. Probably not good for the game.
Yeah, so they kind of, I'm not going to read this verbatim. A lot of you probably saw this already. I'll leave a link down below if you want to read it. But basically, there's been a lot of oopsies lately with Capo Games, and more specifically testing things, and especially with Malik and their intention to make him the best thing right now in the game, because they want to have whale food that's exclusive to whales and reward them for spending money. And you kind of want to do that in a business model, because how are you going to get money if these characters are going to be beaten by easy accessible teams? And the problem they've been having lately is that they haven't been doing good enough testing. Earlier this week, we got the Palpatine nerf, or the huge Malik buff, which nerfed Palpatine. And now we're heading into a territory where, because of the Malik buff, they nerfed their own Sith Assassin's viability, and now that Anakin Skywalker came out, he's really good. Literally the next day, they're like, yeah, we might have to nerf him. So a lot of slip-ups, and you know what? There's 2 aspects to this. The first one is, like you said, 100k AoEs, although cool, not healthy for the game and its long-term viability, because now you have to build new characters around this and limit it, kind of like how HK47 limited the design atmosphere for future droids. I see where they're going. It's not healthy for the future of the game.
And understand that this has happened twice before, to a lesser extent with Wedge and Biggs. It's not healthy, right? And then very early in the game with Jawas. I mean, there was a Jawa meta with AoE. Yeah, so it's just that high damage AoEs is probably not healthy. There's no other way of wording it. It's just not healthy.
Yeah, there's ways that they can easily fix Anakin. Like, maybe let him do the damage he does, but limit him to only a Galactic Republic squad that allows him to trigger all these effects that we're seeing right now. Or one idea that I pitch is that kind of do like a Battlefront 2, that the more damage he takes, the more damage he'll apply to the other team. So I don't think it's safe to have a character, even though it's Anakin, he's one of my favorite characters, and he is the chosen one in terms of game balance, not
I think
lore.
It has to do with him working well under Jedi Knight Revan.
That's the problem.
And if it was an all galactic Republic team, then you're kind of forced under a Yoda lead. You tested it. I tested it. I didn't really like it. I think you liked it more than I did.
I liked it against just Darth, Revan, non-Malik matchups. When there's Malik matchups, then I wasn't seeing it as much. But against a non-Darth Malik teams, it worked surprisingly well. But the same thing, it was the same idea. Anakin's going to just get ticked off like 500 times in the battle and just spam you with AoEs and 70k plus on this basic. So in terms of a balanced perspective, which is the one that I accept, it's something they have to look into. So I understand where they're coming from. When I want to put out this video today, because like when we put out videos saying a character's good, we got to let you guys know, who don't hawk the forums and Reddit and whatnot, that there's a chance that those really impressive results might be nerfed quite soon. And I don't think they're going to buff Malik again. I think this is going to be a direct, retracting of the kit for Anakin.
Well,
because you can't do another Malik buff.
This post right here is saying don't gear Anakin, by the way.
Yes.
It's directly saying don't gear Anakin because we're going to reverse the gear on Sith Assassin, and they should.
Yes.
But they're also saying that they're going to possibly do that on Anakin, and they're saying don't gear Anakin. We're looking at this closely right now.
Yeah, so here's what I'm going to say. I think Anakin's still going to be a good character. Maybe not as crazy like what we're seeing now, and I think he's important for the future of the game. What I'll say is, even if they do retract his kit a bit, I still think they'll have him be good to some extent. He has an amazing ship, and I think he's going to be important for the future of Galaxy of Heroes. If you're one that likes to speculate and wants to predict the future, I'm thinking we're heading towards the dark side Anakin Fallen journey, and kind of like all the journeys we've had, you need the core character, and we're going to need Anakin Skywalker and watch him go through his journey to be seduced to the dark side. So that's my opinion right now. But if you're hoping to gear him up solely for the meta, I'd say then, yeah, hold back. But if you like the other stuff I said, gear him up.
I took my Jedi Knight Anakin from gear 12 to gear 12 and a half. And, so I probably, but no, and the reason why I did that is exactly what you said. He's gonna be useful somewhere, somehow, someday. Like even if it's just the ship, he's good.
Or territory battles, he might be needed for territory battles. So that's another thing right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Anakin, I still think he'll be a good character, but it's unfortunate that the second aspect we got to talk about in this video is that I think a huge influence to why we're seeing again a second buff or a second buff to Malak and nerf to everyone else is because of what Malak was meant to be. Malak was meant to be the last second, gotcha, spend money or you don't get this character. It's supposed to be will food to keep the spending players happy because let's be honest, I'm going to pull this up right here and you were surprised when I showed you this.
Yeah, and I'm a numbers guy, because, I was better part of 10 years in, a stockbroker, financial advisor, and Jedi Knight Revan 12K versus 25K on Darth Revan and only 15K on Malak. They wanted it to be exclusive. Jedi Knight Revan was exclusive. It looks apparently that Darth Revan was not exclusive.
It was
enough.
not. Yeah.
And I don't know what that means, but that does mean something. And then Malak is still not as exclusive as Jedi Knight Revan the first time around. And free-to-play players pretty much expect to get things the second time around, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the drill right here. And what I see right here, because obviously there was a lot of garbage that happened. For example, you can't do Malak's event unless you have 17,500 power. So that was one paywall or gear wall in order to access it. And I could maybe guess, obviously some people didn't have time to do the event like yourself, but I'm guessing out of these 10,000 between Darth Revan and Malak, a lot of these guys had low gear characters and trying to just make their way through the event with Bastila, HK, and like Darth Revan and whatnot. So they need to make money. They're a game that needs to make money.
But now there's also 10,000 people that have half a team right now.
That would kill me. That would kill me.
It's like I'm using Jedi Knight Revan in my arena right now, and I have Darth Revan.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, it's because Darth Revan without Malak is not nearly as good of a team, and it's very beatable as we've shown in the past. But Darth Revan with Malak, it's a different story, especially now that Palpatine's out of the picture and maybe Anakin Skywalker's out of the picture. It's going to be a lot harder. Now we have to rediscover counters of Darth Malak, but I'm afraid to do that because we might make a good video and they're like, oh, wait, we see that all these counters are working. We got to buff Malak again. So they need to make money. And I think one reason why they're doing all these changes to Malak and nerfing things is because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of paying customers. I know that the Capital Games, they're like in a private server, some of the biggest spenders out there, like 24/7. And I'm sure that they're complaining that, hey, why are these plebes of Palpatine beating my newest character that I spent a lot of money for? And if they're not keeping the customers happy, they're not going to get money for subsequent events. So, and plus all these people getting it too. It hurts the sales, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and I understand that there is some exclusivity involved with Malak, and Malak should be exclusive. But if it's a sole Malak meta, made up of the team that everybody's going to use, because it's a 5-man team that you're pretty much forced into at this point. Maybe substituting out Thrawn for Sith Trooper, instead of using Sith Trooper, use Thrawn. But it's the same team. It really becomes about speed, and I don't understand how that's fun. It's not at all. So
it's not. I think what it comes down to is I think there's definitely a big whale consideration because, yeah, you can have Malak, but if you also don't have the whale mod, it's hard to win. And that's another, because like before, you could beat those ultimate whale teams with like just Palpatine and Vader. And that right there kind of mitigates the point of buying Darth Revan as well as Darth Malak. So I think the whales enjoy that because they have the advantage on mods and they don't care it's a mirror match because they are going to have at least 1 point higher than you. I mean, for me personally, you could see right away. Well, before the Malak changes happened, I was loving Arena playing every day. All of a sudden the Malak changes happen. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be as serious now. I hate
to say this, but mine looks almost identical to yours.
Yeah, it's
nearly
like right
identical,
here.
Except for that I went to number 1 today because of Jedi Knight Anakin.
Yeah, and one last point, kind of talking about the whale aspect. Our lead producer for Galaxy of Heroes, Carrie, she must have had a bad day or something. She went all out on Twitter, responding to like every little thing out there, and there was a conversation as to how much money do I need to spend to actually be competitive in this game. Do I need to spend $4,000 to $5,000 to catch up? And I mean, I guess this is just pure honesty. I mean, do I expect? Yeah, I expect that to some degree. And so they do expect you to spend money. And the problem with the model is right now, you and I especially, we're predicting this stuff way too far in advance for people to prepare. It doesn't take a special degree to figure out that, yeah, Darth Revan's coming soon. So they need to bring in incentive to spend money again.
It doesn't take a special degree to predict that Padme's coming, and so is a fallen Anakin. I mean, it's just we know it. We don't know how. Mm-hmm. We don't know what's going to be required, but at some point, it's going to become more and more predictable.
Yeah.
We might start saying, hey, the Jedi used in the Battle of Geonosis, we've got a ton of them in game, or probably, maybe it's going to be Koth and, Kuhn, who knows?
I think it's important to kind of understand where the game is right now. They're definitely in we need to please the whale mode, and then maybe in the future we'll have some sort of free-to-play, free-to-play love. Who knows? They got to swing the pendulum back and forth. So that was kind of a long, dark talk about the game right now. I'm glad they're opening up communication. We needed this. There hasn't been really any communication going around lately. It's nice knowing where they're coming from. They should do this more often. Even when it's bad news, just be straight with us. Are you doing this to please the whales? Just tell us. Oh, at least it's nice to know versus beating around the bush. But let's move on to some happy stuff. I already made a video talking about it extensively in regards to what's coming up with the Geonosis territory battles and stuff that was talked about at Star Wars Celebration. MobileGamer talked about it as well. Click on the card in the top right-hand corner to check it out. But what I want to talk about is one more additional thing. Because are you excited for Geonosis territory battles?
I don't know.
I'm excited for the new characters, to be honest. Because territory battles is fun the first few
times. But I didn't really get into territory battles myself. I mean, I know a lot of people are looking for some PvE, some content, PvE content. The problem I have with PvE content is that once it's beaten, it's done, it's expired. Think about the Rancor. Think about, to a lesser extent, the Heroic A28. Both of the territory battles, it isn't, keeping up with our rosters and creep, and there's no inflation in it for that matter. So once it's beaten, it's done, and that's the part that I don't particularly care for on PvE.
Yeah, I mean, I mainly enjoy the territory battles for a lot of currency, gear, and crystals, and the new characters and the reworks that come along with it. That's what I care about. We're more PvP-oriented people. We're kind of on the same page with the stuff that we kind of like. But regardless, I've already beaten it to death. If you haven't seen it, we talked about it before. Geonosians, they're going to be very important. Clones, Galactic Republic, new Jedi coming. And we think Padme's coming as well. You probably saw that stuff by now. But I want to bring this up. I forgot to mention it in my video. But in regards to the future, I kind of wanted to say take this with a grain of salt. Because, our hearts have been broken once at General Grievous so far this year. But Carrie, we get our official news from Twitter nowadays, right? It's kind of funny.
Twitter changers.
Twitter changers. What does Drake say? Trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers or something like that.
Twitter changers. Twitter changers and Twitter changers.
Right? Anyway, so someone, St. August James, they talked about how, hey, is Grievous going to be good in the future? Is he going to be useful for this territory battles? And Carrie says, not this territory battles, but Grievous's time is coming, and they're not referring to territory battles as Grievous's time. And then she kind of adds a caveat. She says, I didn't want to use any variant of the word soon. I'm not suggesting anyone rush out and farm him. Just saying his rework is designed in a specific way on purpose. GG folks will have their moment. When that will be is TBD. So I kind of want to add this because I know Grievous is just, it seems like he was released at the worst time ever in the game. And then between developer interviews and the B1 battle droid coming up for the Grievous rework, it looked like he was going to be amazing, and it didn't happen. But at least here we got official news from the top end brass at Capital Games saying his time is coming soon. So with all the talk of Clone Wars going on in the Battle of Geonosis, I think it's important we bring this up.
Yeah, I'm just reading that last part of that right there. It says that his rework design is a specific way on purpose. And the thing that was notable about Grievous is not dependent on speed.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering if there's going to be some sort of raid boss node or something that severely penalizes fast characters. Not necessarily like characters taking turns, but fast characters. Because modding the General Grievous team was very unique.
Yeah, I liked it. It was all health. Yeah, it was really exciting how they... One thing they've been doing with kits lately...
It was a smart kit.
It's a smart kit. It just is missing a lot of stuff. And Grievous was in the B1. I mean, we can go on and on about it. But the way that Grievous's kit was formed, you could definitely add some new droids to it in the future and fix things that the Grievous team is currently missing. And I just don't know what they mean by his time is coming. That could be either maybe an event he's going to be needed for, or he might be good in arena or the raids or something like that. But I think it's something important to point out now that we're just starting Clone Wars era content. So I'm excited. I mean, it's some rough news, but we're going to move past it. We've seen some bad stuff. I think right now is one of the worst periods we've seen in terms of lots of slip-ups in Galaxy of Heroes, but we always make it through. Isn't that right, Mobile Gamer? Through dark times, through thick and thin.
It's still the best game I've ever played in my life.
Still the
I don't
best
know how to say that. It really is.
Yeah.
And just because I'm passionate, I mean, I should be. We all are, right? I think, we've played the game for 3 years every day, 3.5 years every day, and spent a lot of money on the game. We're passionate.
A lot of stuff. Comment down below your thoughts. Be sure to subscribe to both of our channels because a lot of fun stuff is probably heading our way quite soon. And Mobile Gamer, lead these kind people out of the video.